Hey, hello everyone. We are live now, and thanks a lot for attending this like the part two. I think the part one, the episode one was really successful. So the second become a PM podcast episode two. So it's going to be exciting. So we have Kaushik, who is currently working as a product manager at Multipl, and before that he was working in product marketing. And interestingly, I got to know he did BTech in biotech, and that's something interesting. He has worked in multiple things. So I think this podcast will be really interesting for all of us. So yeah, let me welcome Kaushik to the screen. Hi Kaushik, welcome and thanks a lot for accepting the invitation and coming in. So yeah, let's get started. So I want you to give a quick introduction about you to our audience.
Thanks, Manoj. Hello, everyone. This is Kaushik, and I work as a product manager at Multipl. So, Multipl is sort of creating a new category. You all must have heard of buy now, pay later companies. So, we are sort of creating an antithesis to buy now, pay later sort of companies. So, we encourage users to save for their expenses and then spend later. So, it's not very similar to buy now, pay later. It's save now and pay later. So it's a new category, and so there are new problems to solve every day, and it's interesting. And this is all about what I do at Multipl and outside work. I'm a traveler, so I love traveling, and I love hiking and trekking all the time. So you can always find me clicking pictures or traveling and enjoying some new experiences. So it's all about me. Yeah.
Perfect. So let's get into the questions we have. So the first question is like product management is something that has become really trending in recent days. So and a lot of people define it differently, right? Where I've talked to a couple of PMs, and even their day-to-day responsibility changes depending upon the company they are in, the stage at which the company is. So what is product management according to you?
Uh, so that's a good question. So product management, as you know, there are a lot of definitions on the internet. The product management has different definitions, and there is no right or wrong definition according to me. But if you ask me, in my opinion, product management is something where you build a product to solve a problem. So that can be any problem. So basically, you're solving the problem with the help of product. So one of the examples that I can give you is, I mean, I was looking at a lot of UX portfolios of candidates, and one of the guys had done really good job in designing a prototype. It was a prototype; it was not a functional product. That prototype was all about any user can find a photographer around their place. So actually, the problem that is being solved here is finding a photographer is tough. Like finding a right photographer and their availability, their cost, everything to know online to know through an app is very difficult. It's not happening today. So what the prototype was all about, you can find any photographer who are around your radius. Let's say 7 kilometer around your radius. You can see their work, you can see their availability, you can see their cost, and you can see also their ratings. And if let's say if you like the photographer, you can basically go and talk to them also. You can connect with them right on the platform. So that's how the platform was designed. It's currently going to be taken up for development. I don't know, but it was a side project. So I really loved the idea. Now, this is exactly what product management is all about, right? So he was a UX designer, so he designed the prototype. But as a product manager, what I would have done, I mean, I would be doing is the problem is to find a photographer, and I am helping users to do that with the help of app. So like that, there are so many problems. You see, you take Swiggy for example. You take any app for that matter. Swiggy basically helps users to place an order, a food order online, and get the order delivered to their doorstep. So the alternate way of doing this is you have to go to the hotel, you have to wait, and then order your food, get the food prepared, and then you have to either wait and have there at the hotel, or maybe wait and get the parcel to your home. So it's a lot of time consuming thing, and the entire time consuming thing, this is just solved with the help of app. So now it's very easy for us to place an order on Swiggy and get the food delivered to your doorstep, right? So this is exactly what product managers do. So they find a problem, they solve it with the help of the application. So that's actually broader definition of product management. But yeah, it's getting into the specifics. There are lots to talk about product management. Everyone has their own definition, but this is the broader level of product management definition that I would give to any layman.
Got it. So it's like just summarizing, right? It's like solving the problem for the user, and which
Correct.
also has an impact on the business. Perfect.
Correct.
And the second question is like generally, right? How did you discover product management and why did you choose it? So, you told right you did engineering in biotech, and
Yeah.
how did you then like discovered product management? Just curious about the journey, right? Because today it's become popular, but back then this was a very rare role. Matlab, not many of the people wanted to become one. So yeah, if you can
Yeah.
share that story, it would be really interesting.
Sure thing, Manoj. So, I mean, I was actually looking at your previous podcast with Arnav, and Arnav mentioned that he's an accidental product manager. So, I could actually very well relate to that. Even I'm an accidental product manager. So, when I was doing biotech, or maybe when I got out of biotech, I didn't know about product management, or I didn't know that I'm going to become a product manager. So it was all an accidental thing. But I can tell you about my journey. So I started as a marketing guy. My first job was with an Y Combinator backed startup. So there I was working as a marketing associate. But after that, my second job was with a product company. So there I was working as a product marketer. The company name is SurveySparrow. So, in case for viewers who don't know about SurveySparrow, SurveySparrow is a survey platform. So, you all must be using Google Forms, right? Google Forms, Typeform, SurveyMonkey. So, SurveySparrow is a competitor of all these platforms, and we had our own surveys where you can build surveys, you can share and collect insights. So, there I was working as a product marketer. So, as a product marketer, my daily job is to interact with product managers, understand what they have built or what is going to be built, and then try to write help documents or try to write more about the features so that the feature can be used by the users. So, my job as a product marketer is to help all the features get to the eyes of a user so that they can start using the features. So I mean, I connect with the product manager, all the product managers. So we had like four different product managers who were managing the product. So I used to connect with them daily, and this is how I discovered the product management function, right? Because I connect with them daily, I know what they are doing, I know how they actually go about building features or maybe prioritizing the roadmap or anything for that matter. So I knew about this function, and I kind of know what exactly goes in the product management function, and that's how I discovered it. And how did I choose it? So this is a good question. So because I was working very closely with them, I started developing my interest towards the product management function, right? Because when you work with them day in and day out about I mean, I was writing about all these features. I was not building the features because I was a product marketer. But when you see them, when you actually see them building really good features, so I thought maybe I can also build features, and let me just try doing this. And also, there's an interesting story. I mean, at SurveySparrow, we had this Slack group, which is a common group for, I mean, where all the employees are there in that group. So that's actually a feedback group for product folks. Basically, people like folks from the product be on the group. So whatever feedback or suggestion that we have, we will go and write it down on the group. So product managers will acknowledge it. So I was actively writing down all the feedback and suggestions to all the product managers. And there was a time when my suggestions or my feedback actually got valued, or maybe they started valuing my feedback and suggestions. And that's when I felt happy about that. And also, that's when I felt, okay, my feedback is being considered, my feedback is being valued. So maybe it makes sense for them. Why not I start building them? Like, why not I start building these suggestions and feedback maybe as a wireframe, and then give it to them directly, so that they can start directly building those features if they already have the wireframes ready. So I started going to that extent to express or maybe to showcase my passion for product management. And that's how I chose product management as my career. And then I started working on it very passionately, and that's how it happened.
Got it. Really interesting. So let's say you are a product marketer, right? Where you are, I think your main role would be to take the feature, like create awareness about the feature that the PM has developed. Then based on that, you will be the guy who would be very close to user compared
Correct.
to the PM, right? As a marketer,
Correct.
you need to understand the persona very well. So that's how
Correct.
you got more empathize skills, and then
Exactly.
so
So
yeah.
I was actually, as a product marketer, I was also a community manager. So we had this
Okay.
community at SurveySparrow, which I was managing. So this community was open to all our customers. So all our customers, if they have an integration request, let's say if they wanted to integrate SurveySparrow with Zendesk, or maybe SurveySparrow with Salesforce, they come and put their integration request on the community. And me being the community manager, I kind of take all these requests, and I kind of say, make sure I convey all these requests to the product manager so that they can start building out these integrations as well. So I kind of loved this. Like I loved interacting with the users, and I kind of loved communicating all the request of the users to the product managers so that product managers can start building it. So yeah, I mean, it was the empathy that actually I learned when I was managing the community, and that also is still helping me as a product manager even now.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think the next question is like, let's say for a developer or designer, the skills are very straightforward and it's easy to find out about them on the internet. But let's say if you are a developer, you need to know how to code in a particular language efficiently, etc. Right? Designer, you need to have visual design skills. You have set of tools that you need to learn, set of frameworks you need to learn. But what are the skills that are needed to become a product manager? What according to you is like top 5 skills that you would say, especially for the aspiring PMs who are just getting started or who are in their early stages of their PM career?
Yes. Again, that's a good question, Manoj. So, because you asked me five skill sets, maybe I can start with the top five. The first one is always accountability, right? See, I mean, there are like, you as a product manager will get problem statements from stakeholders, or maybe from the founder, or maybe from your boss. So they'll give you problem statements to work on, or maybe there will be a roadmap, product roadmap, that is already been built by the founder, or maybe by your boss, by your manager. And then you will start taking up those product roadmap and start building those things. So the first thing is accountability. The reason why I say accountability is that I'll give you an example. So you take some feature, you start building it actively. So product manager is not an individual contributor. So you all have to understand that it's a team playing role. Like, you as a product manager will have to work closely with the designer, will have to closely work closely with the developers, front end, back end guys. You have to work closely with the copywriters. So it's actually, you collectively work on the project. So the accountability actually is important, because when you guys, I mean, like, when you folks start to work on a feature, you all will, actively start working on it. But there will be times where the common objective will slowly get drifted apart. Like, the project may not be as fast as you guys have started it initially. So things can become slow. You all must have agreed on the mutual common objective, but while you're working on it, there can be chances where, slowly things might turn around. The objective is not the same anymore. So there are a lot of things that happen while you are working on the project. So there will be a lot of design reviews that goes back and forth, but will not go any forward. So the developers would have built something which is not in line with the design. So there are so many things. So you as a product manager, you should take the accountability, right? You should take the accountability, and you should basically uh, initiate all the conversations. You should initiate the problem solving. So if there is a design review that is happening back and forth, you connect with the right stakeholder, you connect with the right person who can help us give this design sign off. And once the design sign off is done, the developers start developing it, and you have to maybe facilitate the whole process. So that's where the accountability, because if you as a product manager is not being responsible or not being accountable, then the project will not get to the closure, right? It will not get to the completion. So you always have to be there. You have to always run the show. So you have to be that person. And if you're not doing that, maybe the project may not go as planned, or maybe the you might go so beyond the deadlines. Then it's not the right sign, right? So this is where the accountability plays out. The second thing is writing, or maybe before writing, I would say communication is the most important skill, right? So as I told, product management or product manager is not an individual contributor role. You always have to work with someone to get the project done. So when you're working with a designer, you have to talk to a designer in a way they understand things, right? You cannot talk to a designer like you talk to a developer, or you cannot talk to a designer like you talk to someone, a copywriter or someone. So you have to talk in their language, and that comes with experience. You don't have to worry that, hey, I have to learn the entire design concepts and then only I can talk to the designer. It does not work like that. Just try to make friends with your designers and developers. That is more than enough. When you're good friends with them, they will teach you concepts. So all they need is your eagerness to learn. So as a I have a lot of designer friends. So when I started out, I didn't know anything about design terminologies. I didn't know anything about design systems. But because I was good friends with them, they were happy to teach me more about the design system and design concepts. Similarly with developers. So a lot of people don't actually talk to developers because developers always kind of use jargons, and they have their own terminologies, they have their own processes. So for us, for someone from a non-tech field, it's always difficult to make friends with developers. But actually, if you make friends with developers, they are happy to tell you a lot about what it takes to develop something, what it takes to build something. So you as a product manager should know this. So this is where communication plays an important role. You have to communicate with the fellow stakeholders to understand about the project. So it is going to help you understand more about their work also, and in a way it will also help you build that trust and connection with them, so that in the upcoming following projects, whatever you're going to work on, this communication will eventually help you a lot. So this is my second, maybe the top skills. The third thing is writing, right? Writing is very important because again, all these things are very interrelated. So if you look at communication, communication is important to basically talk to the designers and developers. And writing plays an important role because let's say you get a problem statement, you basically have to define the problem statement, take a structured approach to solve the problem. Am I audible, Manoj?
Yeah, you are audible. Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason why I say writing is that, I mean, you have to define the problem statement. You have to take a structured approach to solve a problem. You will have to, there will be multiple scopes. So let's say if you're working on a feature, there will be multiple releases that you will do. You will not do the entire feature end to end in the first release itself. There will be some gaps that you might have to address in the upcoming releases. So basically, you have to scope out. You will have to scope it out the whole feature development process. So this is where writing plays an important role. When you write actively, or when you write a problem statement, you will basically understand more about the problem statement. Your knowledge about that problem will actually grow, will actually improve. So writing is another important skill set. And then the fourth thing is maybe understanding design, right? Understanding design is another important thing. You will have to have some bit of design knowledge, because your designers will design, and then you will be the first person to whom the design is shared with. So when they are sharing the design with you, uh, you should be in a position to give some feedback. Like initial feedback always helps. So when you're actually giving the feedback for them, and then those feedback gets incorporated, the design will look even better when it goes to the next person, maybe your boss or maybe the founder. So you need to have that basic design skills, and then some bit of technical skills. When I say technical, I don't mean you need to code. Again, that's a different question that is coming in the upcoming questions. But I mean, you don't need to know coding, but you need to predict. For example, if there is a change that you are asked to do, you as a product manager should know whether it's a front end change or it's a back end change. So if there is a feature that you have to build, you as a product manager should know how long this feature is going to take. Though you don't need to be very precise or exact with the number of days that this project or this particular feature would take. People don't need that, but they need an ETA, right? They need an estimated time. Okay, this feature, okay, this is a small change. Maybe our developers can build this in 2 days. oh, this is a very major thing, maybe we would need more time to build this. So you have to basically, you as a product manager should be in a position to predict how long this particular feature or how long this smaller improvement or an enhancement would take. And whether there is a small change that is coming your way, you have to predict, or you have to know that whether it's a front end change or the back end change. Because a lot of times what happens is that we don't know anything about development, we don't know anything about technical. So all we do is, after the design is done, we directly ask the developers to build it out. And then they give you a timeline, and then you wait for that timeline to happen. And after that timeline is the date is over, you basically get on a call with them and review it. This will not help. Like, this may help you during the initial days, but eventually you need to predict the time that it would take. So you need to talk to your developers, negotiate timing with your developers. So you need to know whether this feature is exactly going to take 5 days, or maybe less than that, or maybe more than that. So again, that comes with experience. Even today is a learning process for me, learning experience for me. Every day, even I learn a lot. I'm not from a technical background. So I sort of, connect with them. I sort of understand what is the effort that is required to build this, and how long it's going to take for the front end team to complete this project, and how long it's going to take for the back end team to complete this. So I understand all these things by sitting with them. If I don't understand all these things, maybe, it will be very difficult for me to even establish that connection with them, and I will never learn anything technical. So you as a product manager, initially, you don't need to have any kind of coding or technical skills, but try to make good friends with the developer friends. So I mean, try to make that initial connection with your developers, so that will help you eventually. So these are the skill sets that I feel are the top skill sets. But there are like so many other skill sets as well, like which are available on the internet. You can probably browse it. But these are the initial important skill sets, fundamental skill sets to become a product manager. Yeah.
Got it. I think the next question is, how does a day in a life of a PM looks like? Like, in a day-to-day life, what do you do? Like, many
Yeah.
people say there are a lot of meetings, etc. So how does a day in a life of a product manager looks like?
Yeah. So, I mean, my day, I can talk about my day as a product manager. So I'll just maybe explain you with this. I opened my laptop, I opened 5 different tabs. So my first tab is my analytics tool, right? I mean, there would be a lot of things that would have gone release. There will be a lot of things that would have already have started, giving some numbers or fetching some numbers. So me as a product manager will look at the metrics very closely. If there is an improvement in the funnel, let's say if the funnel has improved before the release and after the release, how is the funnel numbers looking like, how is the conversions looking like, all these numbers I'll take a look at very closely. So that's the first thing that I do in one of the tabs. So my first tab is the analytics tool. So my second tab is the project management software, which we have Notion, but there are a lot of startups, they use Jira. There are a lot of startups use monday.com or Asana, or so many other tools. So we use Notion. So that I open it because I need to track all the projects. I need to track if something if something some of the items deadline is today. I have to make sure that particular item is ready for the development, or maybe ready for the release, or maybe if that is a design item, then I have to make sure the design is ready for that today. So I keep a very close eye on all the projects that we are doing on that particular week or on that particular sprint. So project management software is always my second tab. And my third tab is, of course, the writing a PRD. So I told you that any feature that you build or anything that you do, be it an improvement or be it an enhancement, you have to scope it out. You have to write down everything about that particular enhancement. So that's always a good habit, because if you don't document things before you start doing, then it is very difficult for anyone to keep a track of it, right? Let's say if someone from the business development team wants to know about what that feature is all about, what will you share? You need to
Yeah.
have some kind of documents, or you need to have some kind of PRDs to share, so that they will have a better idea about the feature. So my advice to all the product managers, or maybe initial aspiring product managers, will be, before you start building anything out, just start documenting it first. You need to have the documentation. I mean, it can be very simple documentation. You don't have to elaborate a lot on the document. Very simple documentation, explain everything about what you're going to build. So that will be the reference doc for all the stakeholders, for all the designers or developers, so whoever is working on the project. So I have this third tab opened on my device, which is the writing tool. So there are a lot of tools that we use in the past. Coda.io is one of the PRD is one of the tools that I use. Currently, we are using Notion because our entire project management is now shifted to Notion. But earlier, we were using Jira, and we were also exploring Coda for some time. So this is how the third tab is, of course, the PRD. The fourth thing is Figma. So Figma is the tool which we use to have the basic wireframes done. If you have some references to give to the designer, then I do it on Figma or Whimsical. So these are the two tabs that I open. So in, let's say if there is any design review that needs to happen, then I have the Figma open and I look at the design very closely. And if I have any kind of feedback or anything that has to be done on the design, I get on a call with the designer and ask them to do. And let's say there will be some things which would have already gone to the testing environment. So testing environment is nothing but basically after all the features are developed by the developers, we basically don't release the feature or the enhancement directly to the live app. We basically release it to the testing environment first, which is a testing app. So every app will have a beta app, which is the testing app, and also the live app. Live app is actually accessible for all the users. The beta app is accessible only for internal testing environment. So I collaborate very closely with the developers to see if something is already developed, and if that is developed, they would have already released it on the testing environment, and I test it out. So if there is any bug or if there is any error in the functionality, I get on a call with them and understand, hey, why that error has happened, if there is a way to fix that. So this is how my daily day goes. So design reviews, design calls, development reviews, development calls, testing, writing a PRD, keeping a close eye on all the metrics, and then the project management. So of course, there are a lot of other things that we do as well. We learn a lot. We learn a lot of blogs and other things. But this is how my typical day goes. Apart from learning, yeah.
Cool. So apart from that, just two common questions that people ask, right? One is, do we need an MBA to become a product manager? And do I need to know coding to become a product manager? So what do you think? Like, although it's clear that many of still, in some ways, like many of the people ask MBA because in most of the job description I see even today, like MBA plus experience, something like that. So
Yeah. So MBA, I don't have an MBA. I don't think Manoj, you also have an MBA. So MBA is not, very immediately required to become a PM. But the reason companies prefer MBA grads is because the product manager is not just about building features, about getting the features built. It is more of a business role as well, right? You basically act as a person. If in the Venn diagram, one circle is business, one circle is customers, and one circle is basically the product. So you as a product manager is on the middle ground, is on the common place where where you work with all the teams, business teams, where you work with founders, where you work on the product. So this is, the business skill is something that MBA teaches you. You have to learn critical thinking, you have to learn logical thinking, and you have to learn the decision making, leadership, business management, unit economics. So all these are important business skills that you will learn only in MBA. So maybe Manoj, you and me, we would not have learned all these things on MBA, but we would have learned by experience, or maybe by reading something, by reading some blogs on the internet. We learn all these things. But as an MBA grad, they would have already learned it on the first year of their MBA. The first year of their MBA is basically the common general MBA, where you learn marketing, where you learn finance, where you learn the MBA concepts, critical thinking, logical thinking, decision making, and all these things are learned in the first year of MBA. The second year is where you basically go deeper into one specialization field. So this first year of general MBA skills are required to become a good product manager, because as a product manager you need to be a good leader. You need to have that leadership skill, right? You need to be a good communicator, you need to be a good decision maker, you need to be able to make some logical decisions. Sometimes the critical thinking is required. So all these things are required, and the reason why companies prefer MBA grads is because MBA grads would have already learned all these things in the first year of MBA, and they would have already done some internship, and so they already know all these skill sets. So that's why companies prefer MBA grads. But I would not say that is a very important requirement for any startups right now. The startups want you to learn those skills ASAP. So that does not mean you need to learn only from MBA. You can do a lot of courses. Free courses are there. You can watch a lot of podcasts. You can do a lot of side projects. You can do a lot of side projects. And side projects is one important topic that we can talk about it as well. But yeah, I mean, when you do all of these things, you eventually gain that experience. You gain that experience of an MBA grad. uh, but I mean, I've interacted a lot with MBA grads as well. So I mean, I don't see they learn anything so different from what we do in the company as product managers. So all that they have learned is the business management skills, and that is something that maybe we can choose to learn from the internet, from the blogs, and from the top people, top experts. So learning is something that is important. Be if you are an MBA grad, or if you don't have an MBA, learning is very important skill that you need to do it very constantly. So MBA is not the must, I would say. It's not going to be that game changer or anything like that. I mean, you basically need to work on some side projects, build something for yourself, build a good product portfolio, and that is more than enough to become a product manager. Yeah.
Perfect. I think coding you already highlighted when you were talking. It's more of understanding how tech works and design works so that you can communicate to the developer better, right? So
Correct,
I think
correct.
you also no need to know coding.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
there is this
but as
book.
you told about, yeah,
Yeah, there is this book by Deepak Singh, which is Tech Simplified. So, I mean, I've just started reading that book because even I'm from a non-tech background, and I wanted to get very familiar with the tech architecture and technical skills. So, I mean, I would also recommend that book to all the folks if you want to learn more about the technical side of things. So, the book name is Tech Simplified. The author is Deepak Singh. He currently works as, I mean, he worked for a lot of great startups like Unacademy, Flipkart, and a lot of
yeah.
other companies. So I mean, that is one book that I would highly suggest. Yeah.
Perfect. I think most of the audience I saw, they are from BTech, either computer science or IT. So most of them
Yeah.
will not have the problem of coding because they already know it,
Yeah.
but they have this problem of the confusion of, okay, I want to become a PM. Should I do an MBA or not? Mainly. So as you had
Correct.
talked about side project, if you can put more light on, let's say, what is a side project, right? So let's say as a
Yeah.
developer, they would have built a lot of project. Let's say I was talking to a developer, he was telling me, okay, as a developer, I build e-commerce website, I build library management system, etc. Right? So as a PM, what does a side project is defined? He was telling, can I show this as a side project, or how is it
Yeah.
different from the one that a PM will build as a side project, like for your portfolio?
Yeah. So, viewers, I mean, if you want to learn about side projects, Manoj is the best guy. I learn a lot from Manoj, and I'm really surprised how this guy had managed to build so many side projects, so many different tools that he had built with the help of his friends and stuff. I mean, that is very inspiring for me as well. I mean, looking at you, Manoj, I started doing a lot of things myself to build my side hustles, or to build uh, my more interest towards product management. But yeah, I mean, side projects are very important because, folks, I mean, we don't have an MBA, we don't have any prior product management experience, but we want to be working as product managers. So how will you showcase your skill sets, right? I mean, when you're getting an interview, maybe the founder is on the call, and most early stage startups, the founder will basically interview the product managers. or in some cases the director of product management or maybe the senior product manager will come on the interview. So how will you showcase your skill sets? You need to have something to showcase to them that, hey, this is something that I've done, right? I mean, if they don't see anything that you have built, then your chances of getting hired in that company is very less, because they need to know that you have a very clear passion for product management. You have built something yourself, and you have done something for yourself in the product domain. So that is something that they would like to see, and you always have to be prepared with that. So build a lot of so when I say side projects, what I mean is, see, there are a lot of problems that are occurring in today's world, right? I mean, one of the examples I gave you in the early during this initial session is that, I mean, the UX guy, the portfolio that I was seeing, he had built a complete design prototype of for users who wants to hire photographers. So that is a good problem to solve, and there are like so many problems. So one of the problems that I solved myself was, in my town, Swiggy was not there when I built something. So I built a food delivery sort of business, and it's still functional. I built a tool for this food delivery business on a no code platform. So the idea of building that tool is make it easy for users to look at all the menu, to look at the items in the menu of that hotel. Let's say there are 10 hotels in my town. I listed out all the 10 hotels on the platform. And if they want to make an order, they can basically, click on the WhatsApp icon, and they will go to they will be redirected to WhatsApp, and they can actually send all the items that they want us to place, and we will place the order. And we had a delivery guy who delivered. We still have a delivery guy who is delivering all the food to their customers doorstep. So this is the tool which I built on a no-code tool called Glide. So there is this tool called Glide Apps, GLIDAPPS. So there are a lot of no-code tools. So there are a lot of no-code tools. Of course, you take a look at all the projects built by Manoj. Manoj knows a lot of no-code tools, and he had built a lot of things. So this is one way of building a side project. You identify a problem. There are a lot of problems that is already existing in today's world. So all you have to do is identify the problem, and you start building a solution. Maybe it can be on a no code platform, or maybe the other way to do this is actually the preferred way, a recommended way. If you know some developer friends, catch them, give them the work and get the work done with the help of developers. And if you know some designers, you wireframe the idea on tools like Miro or Whimsical or any tool, or maybe a hand-drawn paper sketch. That is more than enough for a designer to have something for reference. Ask your designer to, design your idea, and after the idea is designed, ask your developer friends to take it up for the development, and you basically run the show. You ask your developer friends, you set a clear timeline for them and ask them to do it, and once everything is done, you release the product and see if someone is using the product or not. So this is a greater way to build. This is actually the recommended way to build something. So, I mean, we all know developer friends, right? We all know developer friends, front end guys, back end guys. So it's time to make use of them. I mean, it's time to make use of your friends to build your side projects. And it is actually a great learning experience for them also, right? I mean, outside their job, they also get to build something. And this is a great opportunity for them to learn something new. And for you, it's a great experience as well, like managing developers and designers. So, I mean, we all have great developer friends. It's time to make use of them to build something for yourself. So this is how you build the side projects. So identify the problem, try to solve, like do your bit. I mean, eventually, if the product is, you don't need to build everything that is so successful, because my product, the one which I built on Glide Apps, is not very successful. Like I don't get like so many orders from the app that I built, but the because I built the app, I'm more confident. Like I could use that app during my interviews. I could show that app to all my interviewers, saying, hey, I built something during COVID time. And by the way, this business was started during the COVID. So I'd built something during the COVID, and I could show this to all the interviewers. And there are so many other side projects that are being built on a daily basis, that are built by a lot of young folks. Even I'm inspired to see all the brilliant ideas in the form of a product brought into reality. So this is great. I mean, you can also start doing something like that. So I mean, even if you're not building anything with your developer friends, or if you're not building anything on a no code tool, try to at least write a PRD of your idea. So you document your idea, you basically plan out how exactly your ideas will be turning into reality. All these things you write it down as a PRD, and at least showcase your document to your interviewers. So don't go to an interview, product management interview, without having anything on your profile. So you need to have some proof of work. Or maybe, let's say if you like a product, let's say if you like an app, Swiggy. So try to do an onboarding teardown. Try to do an onboarding teardown of Swiggy app, or any app for that matter, and see if there is everything that an onboarding, that an amazing onboarding experience requires. If there is any gap, if there is any understanding gap or anything, point it out, and then have that as one of your proof of work. So proof of work is very important. If you had already built a product, nothing like it. If you don't have a product built, at least try to do some tear downs. Try to write a PRD for your idea. Try to do some hand drawn sketches, and then take a picture of that, attach it on your product portfolio. Like, all of these work will help you increase your chances of getting hired in that company. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the next question is like, the side projects are good, right? So basically, just summarizing, like, you need to focus. If you build with your friends too, right, it will be interesting, because if you just write a PRD, no one will ask feedback. But if you give the same PRD to your developer friend, he will ask you a lot of questions related to what is it,
Yeah.
etc. And in that way you will learn a lot. uh, so
Yeah.
yeah, so the next question is, what are the resources used by you for cracking and learning about PM roles? If you can
Yeah.
show some of these resources and also tell about them.
Sure, Manoj. And I'm going to send you like top 3 links that help me prepare for the PM roles. So you put that links in the description when you're uploading this video, recorded video. But for now, I'm happy to share my screen to show you folks something. Like, just setting up the context first. This is one of the resources that I got from a company called Zeda.io. The company is known for making product managers' lives easier. So they have their tool that helps product managers to basically facilitate the whole project management and everything. So I got these resources from them when I was preparing for my product management interviews. So I'm going to share my screen, Manoj. Just confirm if you can see my
Yeah,
screen.
sure.
Yeah.
Let me
Yes.
add it to the stream, and let me put you
Yeah.
on spotlight.
Sure.
Cool. You can get started.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I'm able to see your screen. Like, you can start explaining. I'll just put you on spotlight, so I'll be out of the stream now
Yeah, I just want to make
until
sure
you.
if my screen is visible for everyone.
Yeah, it's visible.
Awesome. Cool. So, folks, this is the a library of all the resources that I used during my PM interviews, during my preparation for the PM interviews. And you have literally everything in this library. You have everything available in this Airtable. Don't worry, I'm going to share the Airtable link with you all. So you have all the important resources that is required for you to prepare for the PM interviews. So, all these are blogs. All these are essentially blogs. So, if you're preparing for a PM interview, I would say you take like 1 or 2 blogs every day and read the blog completely from top to bottom. Do not leave any particular section, or do not leave any particular para, because everything is actually valuable. So Zeda had done an amazing job in curating all these resources on a table format. So you can just make use of it. There is this name of the blog that is written on this column. There is the URL of this blog, and then the category. So you can go about selecting your category, because, and while you're preparing for the interviews, maybe there are some categories which you can specifically read. For example, tips and advices, strategy and planning. You have all the categories listed on this column as well, right? So you can be very selective on what category you want to cover first. Let's say if you're preparing for a senior PM role or maybe a proper product manager role, then strategy and planning will be very important for you. Then let's say if you're preparing for an APM role, associate product manager role, then you can read all the general blogs first, and then there are some must reads: good product manager, bad product manager. All these must reads can be taken up later, and also some tools, because initially you will have to learn about a lot of tools that are available for product management. And frameworks and prioritization. I mean, frameworks and prioritization are and there are so many frameworks available on the internet, and we follow a lot of frameworks as well. So if you want more frameworks and prioritization, maybe you can focus on that category. So like, just make use of the category and then go about your preparation. So there are so many blogs. There are close to 160 blogs. So let's say if you can read a book, then I would also suggest a lot of books. Hooked is one of the books that I would highly suggest everyone to go and read the book. And also there is this book by Marty Kagan, which is Inspired, which is also a great book. But don't worry, there are a lot of blogs written by Marty Kagan in this list as well. So in case if you can't read the Inspired book, don't worry, you already have a blog written by Marty Kagan in this list. And all these authors of these blogs are really brilliant. So there is this author called Julie Zhu. I mean, she's an amazing product manager. She worked at Meta, and now she's working. She's building her own startup. There is an office in Bangalore, to let you know. So Julie Zhu is actually one of the great product managers, and you should definitely read all the blogs by Julie Zhu. I mean, that is going to be really helpful for you to get to feel more confident about your role, because all her blogs focuses on the communication aspect, which we just discussed: how to work with designers, how to work with engineers. All these are very essential knowledge that you need to gain even before the product management experience. Like, you need to have all these knowledge and skills, understanding of working with designers and developers in order to crack the PM interview. So I would say read all the blogs written by Julie Zhu and Marty Kagan, and then you can be very selective by reading based on the categories that you want. And every blog is important. So every blog is important. Don't leave any blog. 160 blogs, folks. I mean, take like 2 blogs every day and do that for 80 days. So that's more than enough for you to get familiar with the product management. And also, side by side, try to learn some tools like Miro or Whimsical. All these tools are very easy. I had learned Whimsical from one of my friends, but actually it does not require anyone to teach you how to use the Whimsical tool. All you can do is, there is a free plan available for Whimsical, Miro, and all. All you have to do is just play around with it. Don't worry, just play around with it very casually and understand how the tool works, and you will learn the tool. So all you have to do is just take that first step, break the inertia. So if you break the inertia, automatically things will go. Automatically you will learn everything. All you have to do is sign up on an account on Whimsical. Whimsical is the tool which is very close to my heart. So it's a very easy tool. It does not require any kind of video tutorials or anything that is, you need to prepare and then learn, work on the tool. It does not require anything like that. You can just sign up on a free account and start exploring, play around with the tool, and you will learn it. And also, side by side, read some books. I think initially you don't have to overload yourself, because all these blogs are more than enough. So if you can read a book, then go for some reading. But if you can just read these blogs, that is more than enough for your preparation. It's not just for the preparation for interviews. Even if you're already an APM or a PM working in a company, you can also still go through all these blogs, because I still go through all these blogs every day, because everything is, there is a new problem to solve on a daily basis. Every day you wake up to a new problem. Every day you basically figure out something new. So it's always good to come here, brush up the skills, and then go back. So this link I'm going to share, and you're going to make, I hope you will make use of this link for your PM preparation. Yeah. Thanks, Manoj.
Perfect. I think the very important question is how does the interview process look like, right? But before that, I had a quick, I wanted to know, like, after you had taken the decision, okay, I want to move to product management now. What are the companies? Not sure about the company names, but did you started applying for multiple companies? Did you face any rejections? Like, how did you practice? But currently, right, as
Yes,
the demand is very high, it's very difficult. So if you can throw
correct,
highlight on that, and the next, like, how
correct.
was your interview process?
So interview process is, again, it's actually, a proper interview process that you will go through. So it's not that, the first interview will get you the job, right? You will have to go through multiple interviews. So, like, I'd faced a lot of rejections. I had applied to a lot of companies on LinkedIn. Wherever I see product managers required, I would go and apply to the role. But that did not work out for me because I did not have any kind of product portfolio built for me. So this is a good learning for you also, folks. I mean, if you do not have a product portfolio, maybe the chances of you getting hired is very less likely to happen. Like, it might not also happen. You need to have something to showcase. So have a very strong product portfolio built for you, and then go and apply for roles. I mean, my interview experience, I was working for this company called SurveySparrow. So there I tried to do an internal transition, but I was not able to, make that impression to the director of product. So that's why I thought maybe, but my passion for product management was still there. Like, I still wanted to, become a product manager. So I did not give up. So after Service Sparrow, I started applying for a lot of companies, and one of the companies that I got the first, I mean, I got an opportunity to make a first impression was Multipl, because I know the director of marketing who's working at Multipl. I met her on my solo vacation. I was actually going on a solo trip to Varkala in Kerala. She was also coming to Varkala on her solo vacation. We met there in this hostel. There is this hostel, and we met there. We talked about Multipl. We talked about how the job market is looking like and everything. We had a very casual chat, just like catching up with someone with same interest on a trip. So that's how I actually met her, and she mentioned that there is an opening for marketing role, because I was a marketer at Service Sparrow. So Multipl was looking for marketers, and she asked me whether I would be interested for a marketing role. So I told her, yeah, I mean, I'm not really looking for marketing roles, but I would still give it a shot. And while get after I got on an interview, I clearly mentioned, I expressed my interest towards product management. I very clearly told her that, hey, my interest actually lies on product management than marketing. It's not that I don't like marketing anymore. It's just that I started loving product management more than marketing. So if you have a chance for me as a product manager, that would be really great. Just let me know. And then the interview actually, changed completely from marketing interview to a product management interview. She was a director of marketing, but she also, plays an important role in making some product decisions. So she asked me a lot of questions on what I did to become a product manager. How did my experience at Service Sparrow look like? Because there were a few things which I worked at Service Sparrow as a product manager, like as a product guy. We built a no we built a QR code generator tool, which might, I mean, the main objective of that tool was to attract leads and to acquire leads. So that kind of helped me to showcase, or to let my director of marketing know that I've done something very similar to the product management role at Service Sparrow also. And also there was this feature called case management at Service Sparrow. It was not getting that adoption. It was not getting that traction. So that was one problem that we solved. Like, I basically took the lead and we solved that problem at Service Sparrow. So that also helped me project my PM experience, or maybe project my product management understanding and experience. And I mean, that was an interesting experiment that we actually solved. The feature adoption is still a problem for many startups, right? You develop features and you build features, but you don't get an adoption for that. You don't get the required visibility and traction for that. So we kind of solved that problem, and I explained how I solved that problem. We ran surveys, we understood a lot of from the customers, we made some user calling, and all of these have done, and all of these whatever I've done, I explained to this interviewer, and then she moved my profile to the next round. The next round was with the founder of the company. Again, he had asked a lot about my design skills, if I know Figma, if I know how to communicate with developers. He asked me if I had ever communicated with developers on any projects. So a lot of these conversations happened, and the third round was with the director of product. So before third round, I was also given this problem statement to solve. So there is this problem statement that I got, like there is not so many conversions happening from the home screen of the app. How will you solve it? Does the home screen completely requires a revamp, or is there anything that is missing on the current home screen? So how do you solve it? Then I started using Whimsical that time, and I started doing the wireframing for all the home screen changes that I feel that needs to happen. And then I documented everything on a Google Doc, and I shared the doc with them to see to showcase my work. And that got them interested to maybe take a bet on me as well. And then the interview with the director of product happened, and then finally I got the offer. So I had like three roles, and one assignment, which is a problem statement that was given, and I was asked to solve that. So this is how my interview process looked like, and it's pretty much similar for all the PMs and APMs as well, right? You will have like 2 rounds of discussion, or maybe 2 to 3 rounds of discussion, and there will be a problem statement, or there will be an assignment that will be given to you with respect to the product, and you will be asked to attempt, or maybe you will be asked to solve that problem. And they will basically evaluate you based on your approach to solve that problem. How did you solve it? What frameworks did you use? And all these are basically the questions that will be asked. But before that, the first impression that you will make will purely be, you need to have that product portfolio built for you. So without that, the first impression is very difficult to make. Have a good LinkedIn profile. And Arnav also mentioned that he actually got a job because of his LinkedIn profile. He had built a decent LinkedIn profile for himself. So LinkedIn profile is very important. Showcase all your product experience. Showcase everything on your LinkedIn. Have a really good LinkedIn profile built, and that will help you make that first impression. And then once the first impression is made, after that it's kind of easy for you to go with the upcoming rounds. But the preparation is very important. It's actually the process that you will have to focus on. So the process itself will take like 2 to 3 months for you to prepare, and then you get a job will happen subsequently based on your preparation and based on your confidence and everything.
Got it. So just highlighting like mainly networking, right? How you met your one of the known person, then you
Yeah.
came into product, and then next is proof of work. Like you highlighted about what you did at SurveySparrow and showed your interest. Just 2 key points, right? So now the last thing is what are the some of the any advice you want to give to the product aspirants?
Yes, thanks, Manoj. And I mean, any advice? Go hard on your preparation. So that is one thing. Build something. So I mean, if every interviewer, if they are looking for a PM candidate, they are looking for something that you had already built. So don't worry about any. You don't need to build something with a fancy UI or fancy UX. You don't need to have a fancy design. Try to solve a problem. So there are a lot of problems that is existing today. Just try your part, contribute from your end on how will you solve that problem. So many different problems are already there. You have like enough problem to solve for. All you have to do is pick the problem which you are kind of interested in, and try to do, like, use a lot of no code tools. There are a lot of no code tools that are available. You don't need to know coding. All you can do is try to learn some no code tool, and then try to build your part. How will you build the solution for it? How will you build the solution for your problem? Or let's say if you have some developer friends like Manoj, if you have some developer friends, back end front end guys, just try to take their help. You be the designer, or you be the product manager for that project, and ask take help from your friends, and then get that project done. Like, try to build something, and that is going to help you in greater ways to get the role, to get the product management role cracked.
Perfect. I think any last words you want to say before we go into the Q&A? So we have some
Oh
questions
yes.
that our audience have asked.
Awesome.
Okay,
So
let's
yeah, I
jump
mean,
into
all the
that.
very best. I mean, thanks for the opportunity, folks. For Manoj as well. I mean, glad I was able to help you, uh, kind of, get started with the PM preparation, PM interview preparation. So I'm happy. I'm always available on LinkedIn. You can always connect with me on LinkedIn. And then yeah, we all, I'm always just a ping away. I also have a WhatsApp group that is there only for the PM aspirants, for the aspiring product managers. You all can come into the group, and I'm sharing like one concept every day where I, share some design terminologies, some design concepts, and some interesting blogs that I come across on the internet. Everything is shared on the group. So yeah, I look forward to meeting you. I look forward to interacting more with you on any help you require. Yeah.
I think the first question is by Pratik. It's
Yes.
about, hey Kaushik, where to find the good topics to practice writing?
Uh, where to find the good topics to practice writing?
I
See,
think he's
basically your
talking more
ideas.
how he can improve his writing skills.
Correct, correct. Uh, Pratik, so all you have to do is identify the problem that you're going to solve, right? Because that is something that you will be eventually converting it into a PRD, the process requirement document. So to practice writing, you need to know what exactly you're going to build, what is the problem that you're going to solve for. So once you know that, okay, I will give the example of the UX guy that I met. I mean, the portfolio that I was looking at. So he had written everything about how to find a photographer around your location. So that was a problem, and he had wrote everything about the problem. So once you know the problem that you're going to solve for, then it's very easy to write about it. So the topics are basically the problems that you're going to attempt solving for. Or maybe if you're going to build a feature, or if you're going to suggest a feature to an existing product, let's say there is this product called Cred. If you're going to suggest a new feature to Cred, write about that feature, and then maybe go about your writing process. So the topics are basically the problems that you're going to solve. So these are the topics, and then you go about the writing process. Yeah. Glad I was. I mean, did I answer your question, Pratik? Is there any follow-up question for this?
Yeah, Pratik, if you have any follow-up, you can ask in comments. So let me jump
Sure.
to the next question. So next question is by Manish. What are the critical challenges we have in PM role, and how do you solve it in a wise way? So he's talking about, let's say I become a PM, and what are the critical challenges we have in our day-to-day lives, and how we can solve it?
Yeah. So, Manish, this is a good question. You don't know what problems you're going to solve. Like, I mean, you will have the ultimate problem that the product is going to solve, but while solving that product problem, there will be a lot of problems that will happen here and there. The challenges. Yeah, every day is challenging. That's the right thing. So, and if the challenges are, basically like, design review might happen, but it will not come to any conclusion. So there will be design reviews that goes back and forth, and this is a challenge. This is a bigger challenge because design feedback is very subjective. If you're giving a feedback on design, the designer might have a different thought process of why he or she designed it. Then it might be difficult for you to introspect, but the best way to go about it is try to talk to them, try to understand what was their thought process, see if their thought process is making sense. If their thought process is making sense and what you're suggesting is not something that is in line with the designer's thought process, maybe try to go ahead with designer's thought process itself. It's okay, because you as a product manager, you are not a subject matter expert in design, right? You are a generalist, you are a product manager who is managing the product. So designers are basically the subject matter experts who are designing something. So if they have a thought process, which is why they have designed something in a certain way, try to question them, try to understand their thought process, but then don't try to course correct. Go with their thought process and then see how that is going to help the product, or help the feature improve the metrics. So metrics is important. If the metrics is not working out, maybe you can do some iterations later also. But this is one of the wiser ways to solve the problem, because a lot of times what happens is that, I mean, the PMs are very strong with how they want the design to look like. So they are not the subject matter experts or the design experts, but they want the design to be in this way only. So a lot of times the designers may not agree with you. A lot of times designers may have a different way of looking at the same problem, totally different way. So don't waste your time to just argue. Don't waste your time to have a debate about, hey, why I want it this way or that way and all. I mean, try to express your thought process. Try to say why you want that thing to look like this. Make your designers understand that. And if the designer has better things to say, or if designers has better ways to solve the problem, try to get them try out the things in their way. You can always make changes, or you can always make iterations later. But but at the same time, you do not have to convince with an ordinary design. Ordinary design is not accepted. Try to have the design which is looking really good and which is solving the problem. Try to go about that. And engineer and another challenges that you might have is the design that you had given the engineers to develop, and after development the design may not look the same. There will be some gaps between the Figma design and the actual design, actual UI after development. So those are the things which you have to work closely with the developers and make them understand. So there will be times where everything would have come to a conclusion, but then at the last moment the founder will have something new to be added in that project. They will have some copy changes, or they will have some design changes. Then you might have to go back to the design team and get that design done. So there are a lot of challenges. So most of these challenges you will get to know only when you start doing the job. So you cannot predict all the challenges right upfront before even starting the project. So there will be a lot of challenges that you will face, but most of the challenges that you will face is are these the design gaps, development. I mean, collaboration with developers might be tough at times. And if you're working in the B2B space, then there are totally different problems. Maybe Manoj can help us with more clarity on the challenges a PM face in the B2B space. But yeah, I mean, from the B2C angle, or maybe from the consumer angle, these are the problems that you may face. Manoj, you can help us understand more about the B2B challenges a product manager would face.
I think B2Bs, you'll also have a opportunity to interact directly with the customer in many ways, right? B2C, it's rare. For example, B2C, I cannot talk to around all the users at the same time. So in B2B, you have that, but there are some set of customers who have higher power or decision making authority. Like you need to
Yes.
understand them, you need to explain them about your current product stack and how it can help them.
Yes, correct,
Uh,
correct. Yeah.
cool. I think the last question. So if you have any more questions, please ask. I think this seems to be the last question. So here they have asked about, please, Priyanka has asked, please help us with 3 tips for networking and getting interviews.
Yes. So networking and getting interviews, try to connect with people on LinkedIn. So that is actually, one way you first, I mean, that's the initial step you do for the networking. Try to connect with all the folks on LinkedIn, with whomever you feel you want to connect. I mean, there will be some really good experts in the product management or in whatever field that you want. So let's say if you're applying for a UX role or a UI role, there will be some really good people on that designation or that in that field. Try to connect with them. Just send a message. Try to make use of that LinkedIn notes. So there is this option called notes. Before you send a connection request to anyone, you have an option. You have a notes where you can write about why you want to connect with them. Try to look at their work and say some 1 or 2 words of good words of appreciation. Yeah, make it personalized. So all these things are maybe the initial the first and the initial ways of connecting or connect with networking with someone. And once you have the connection, built, once you connected with that person, try to understand more about their job, understand more about their work, go through every post of theirs, go through every work that they had done, try to understand what they're talking about, because a lot of design folks, a lot of product management folks are already writing a lot of good things about product management, about design and all. Try to understand, try to learn from them. And yeah, so just I mean, let them know that they are actually doing the good work. So these things are really good for networking. So don't try to stop yourself, don't try to be in that closed mind. uh, I mean, open your mind and try to connect with folks. It's okay even if you don't get a reply, it's okay even if they don't respond to you. You do your part, you do everything that is in your control, and then probably I mean, they will definitely respond. Like, I mean, when you're genuinely putting an effort to write something about their work, or to appreciate them for their work, they will definitely respond. It's just that they might take some time to look at your message, but yeah, they will definitely respond eventually. So that's actually one good way of networking. And the other way of networking is go and participate in a lot of events. So there are a lot of events that are I mean, offline events have started now that the COVID is gone. The COVID is still back. I read some news today that 3,500 new COVID cases are there, but it's okay. The offline events have started, and people are actually conducting a lot of events. So try to spend some $500. There will be some meetups. Yeah, so there'll be some events which require to pay. It's okay. Like, spend some $500 and attend that event. You will learn a lot. You will get to know a lot of people. Try to become a part of communities. Community growth is something that is that is really amazing and trending nowadays. People want to be a part of a lot of communities. So community based learning is something that will help you. So yeah, I mean, these are some good ways of networking and making that connection.
Perfect. I think we have gone through all the questions. Let me just check if I'm missing any. Uh, I think there's
Yeah, we can
two
always
more
connect on
questions.
connect async also. Don't worry. I mean,
Yeah,
even if any question
there's
is missed, you
last
can connect. Yeah.
last two questions. So one is online MBA worth it? I'm not sure. Even I have not done. Yeah.
Yeah, I have not done any online MBA at Arun, so maybe I may not be the right person. But I've done one recent course with GrowthX. So I think Manoj is a part of the next cohort. Manoj will have an amazing learning experience as well. But this GrowthX cohort is something that I really enjoyed learning. So it's like, I started learning very actively after three to 3.5 years of my college. So it was an intensive learning experience for me. The last 2 months, I just finished the cohort, and so I mean, that was not an MBA. So that was all about the product. So that was all about the in and out of product. So you learn everything about the product end to end. So, but there are a lot of online MBAs. Like, one of the online MBAs that I know and some of my friends have enrolled is Stoa. So there is this company, e-learning company called Stoa. They offer online MBA courses. So maybe I mean, I connected with a lot of folks who have done Stoa courses, and they give me good reviews as well. So I think Stoa MBA is one of the things that I would recommend. But yeah, it depends on the fees, and it depends on the course fee and everything. Just go give it a shot. See if everything is working out for you in terms of finance, and in terms of experience and everything, and the commitment. Because a lot of these things like Stoa, GrowthX, it all requires to commit. It all requires you to have that commitment. If you're not ready to commit your time and effort, then probably these courses might not be of any help to you. You should be able to dedicate your time and just commit yourself to learn. But I mean, the experience is rewarding, that I can tell you, because I am just completing my cohort with GrowthX, and I had an amazing experience of my life. So yeah, I mean, this is all about the online MBAs of sorts.
Perfect. The last question is there any basic topics to start PM career? So it's telling about any basic requirements, like these are bare minimum, man. Without this, you cannot become a PM. So what are those, if you can suggest about them?
So, I mean, basic topics. I'm going to share that Airtable library which I showed you, Adoter. I mean, that is anyways going to be shared. Apart from that, basic topics to start the PM career: work on a product, build a product portfolio, connect with a lot of product managers, understand a lot about basic product management principles or basic product management processes and frameworks. All of these are available on that Airtable library which I showed you. I'm going to share that. You take a look at it. But apart from that, the basics are basically these. And if you have any more questions, I'm happy to connect with you async. I'm happy to get on a call with you as well if you want more understanding or more knowledge. Yeah.
Perfect. So I'll add his LinkedIn profile to the description too. And
Yeah.
thanks a lot, Kaushik, for coming in. And it was a really great session. I think we are also running out of time a bit, but no issues. Uh, so yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Manoj, and I
Thank you.
hope.
Have a nice day.
Yeah, thanks, and I hope everyone. I mean, you had something new to learn. If there is any feedback, let me know on LinkedIn or anywhere. So, yeah. So thank you so much for your all your presence, guys.